From one good Netflix movie to a mediocre one. From Hustle to this movie. Sounds about right. Chickenhare and the Hamster of Darkness. Words were used to make that sentence a sentence. So I don't know. Okay, look, I don't know what the heck I was supposed to have expected. I didn't watch the trailer or hear anything about this movie or, you know, behind it before just seeing it pop up on Netflix when it came out. So, what's the story behind Chickenhare? So, it's based on a graphic novel series written and illustrated by Chris Grine and published by Dark Horse Comics, the company that has The Mask, Hellboy, Sensei, and many more under its belt. Also published this. I never heard of this comic before, and I think it's fair to assume it was never that popular, but it was planned to be made into a movie a while ago before being cancelled, and now we have a brand new movie on Netflix from the animation studio and Wave Pictures. Wait, well, anyway, why does that sound familiar? Oh, those people. If you didn't know, this is a Belgian animation studio founded by Ben Stassen, who, as far as I know, directed everything to come from the studio, and I'll give them this. They are really full of potential. And Wave isn't an A-list animation studio like Disney or Pixar, or even B-list, honestly, in terms of well-known stuff, but they have so much potential. They don't make knockoff films or anything. They make original stuff, or at least based on property they actually are, you know, licensed to use. However, I don't think these people made a great movie. Yet, since they have good-looking movies under their belt, like, they are good animators working for them, and their movies are good to look at. Because, you know, it's good animation, is what I'm trying to say. But look, I mean, as far as I remember, since I saw their first movie, Fly Me to the Moon, on demand as a kid at my grandparents' place, they have not made a great movie yet, okay? Or even a really good one. They're probably most well-known for the Son of Bigfoot movies, since I remember people talking about the first one, at least, when it came out. But I didn't like either movie, and if I did have something to say I did like about them, I don't remember them well enough, but I still have faith in them as a studio. And I would honestly ask them to make an animated movie for me I wrote if I could, and if other options weren't available. But now, with all that said, what's the movie about? So, it's written by David Collard and directed by Ben Stassen and co-directed by Benjamin Mousquet. The movie is about a Chickenhare, which is not only what the main character is, it's actually his name. His actual name is Chickenhare, voiced by Jordan Tartakow, and he's a rabbit with chicken feathers on his head and chicken legs, often made fun of for being different. But he so wants to prove himself and feel accepted in his kingdom. Yes, kingdom. His adopted heir father, Peter, is the king of unnamed kingdom. You see it in the movie. But before he was king, he was also an adventurer, like Indiana Jones. Oh, wait, no. He's not, you know, just like Indiana Jones. You know, okay. I'll get back to this later. So Chickenhare wants to prove himself, but in doing so, he accidentally lets his evil uncle Lapin out of prison. He's voiced by Danny Fehsenfeld. Feels kind of ironic that the uncle's a rabbit to a chicken-rabbit hybrid when, you know, his name's Pheasant. No, it makes more sense. No, where was I? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, he lets him out of prison by accident, and his uncle plans to go after a hamster staff, I already forgot what it was called, which lets him take over the mind of hamsters. And in the world with anthropomorphic animals, it's regular hamsters. And that makes it the second anime film this year to come out with anthropomorphic animals, and the bad guy plans to use a mind control device to take over the world with regular hamsters. Or first, since it came out fancier than the bad guy. Why do I care? I should review the bad guys though soon, so be on the lookout for that. Well, yeah, back to this movie. So, Chickenhare starts out with his assistant / friend Abe, a pessimistic turtle voiced by Joey Lotsko, to right his wrongs and get the hamster staffers, and makes a new friend along the way with an optimistic skunk named Meg, voiced by Lail Berzins. They'll go on their mediocre adventure because this movie is incredibly mediocre. I feel like comparing this to Hustle, since both movies are kind of predictable cliche, why does that work compared to this? Because that movie had passion. This movie lacks passion. Hustle, that movie showed grit and love for basketball and family. This movie doesn't show any grit to the story or passion for adventure movie, since it just makes you think Indiana Jones for toddlers. The main character dresses like Indiana Jones, a whip used constantly for Tarzan swinging, even running away from a rock that might crush them. It doesn't feel like they were inspired by it, nor is it, I would say, they're ripping off Indiana Jones. They just want to recreate the feeling of that movie, and they fail because it's not interesting or anything. Like, Harrison Ford's charm isn't here. That doesn't come off from the lead, since he's a generic protagonist with an easy arc of learning to love himself for, honestly, my reasons. Yes, he's mocked for looking different, but he's the king's adopted son. That should be enough. And no, they never bring up his real parents or so it doesn't matter. Honestly, I would prefer that they actually had the story of, they decided to commit bestiality. Then you got the turtle, who is so annoying. His pessimism isn't funny. It gets aggravating to listen to since he doesn't shut up about how much he hates doing this adventure, and even calls out how sometimes they're following adventure movie tropes. It's not a parody or a commentary, it's just an excuse to do these tropes and then seem like, oh, we're aware of doing these tropes, but we're clever for saying we are doing it. And then, okay, look, and it's not enjoyable when this character isn't really necessary to the story until, like, the third act for it to be like, oh, okay, you can do this one thing for us to get to the next plot point. Glad you were part of the story, you annoying waste of voice. Not the voice actor. I'm not picking on the voice actor. No, I am just saying, the character itself. But, speaking of voice acting, let's get into the other stuff. Then you got Meg, and here's my other big problem with the movie, the voice acting. It's fine, no one's awful, but the actor they got for Chickenhare didn't work for me. And I know, this is all dubbed from a different country, so that might be behind it. But I don't know why, for sure, it didn't work for me, because he doesn't do a bad job. If I had to guess why, personally, it didn't work for me, they were looking for a high-pitched voice, but it always was way too young, but it sounded way too young for this character. Sure, he's young, but he's not a kid. And yes, this is an adult voice. I think it might just be impression. I don't know. But going back to Meg, I think she was a way more fun character since she's optimistic, and the voice actor for Berzins really worked better. Mostly because I guess it did feel like this character actually could speak this person's voice. I mean, it's a skunk, so take that for what that means, I guess. Whatever I mean by that. Look, I could just imagine her as the hero of the story more, and I would have enjoyed the skunk and chicken rabbit thing's friendship more if Abe wasn't in the way. But for all of Abe's and Chickenhare's sake, she never gets mad or anything. She's way too happy and serves as a reminder of all these characters being just one-dimensional. Because, like, when Chickenhare or Abe just screw up, she's just like, you guys can still do it, or I still believe in you, or others. She's just like the supportive girl. Like, they have a character written to be like, I'm the badass girl to balance out the badass male characters. Yeah, she's just the yes girl. That's what she is! And speaking of one-dimensional characters, yes, the father's character is generic, the villain characters are generic. It doesn't feel like they had a story to tell. They had an idea of what they wanted to make work, but the story itself is a generic adventure story. It makes you wish you'd rather watch the Indiana Jones movies or other movies in the genre, because, there's more than just the Indiana Jones movies in terms of adventure movies. Yes, the Indiana Jones movies are easily the best ones, but there's stuff like Romancing the Stone. You have better options. Anyways, I mean, the journey itself in this movie, he spends most of his time with these tribal pigs. I guess I'll call them that. And they're all designed the same, and honestly felt cheap despite how good looking the movie is. And that's the thing. This movie isn't bad, but it's not good. It's just a mediocre movie that makes you think of other things you've seen before. It's mostly harmless to kids, but it's not compelling for honestly anyone old enough to understand how, better movies work for better reasons. The message is overused, and the characters are lame. But if you just need a mediocre film that isn't terrible, but what does right is still being, mediocre, this will work. But this is nothing you need to watch. You can skip and hop away easily from it. That's all I can say, honestly. I could go more in depth, but that will imply, this movie deserves me going more in depth. So tell me I'm wrong for disliking, Rooster Rabbit and the, Temple of Guinea Pigs is. I give Chickenhare and the Hamster of Darkness a 5 out of 10.